so today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live for Coffee and Community Conversation. I have my coffee in my Mom Boss cup this morning. I want you to invite somebody in. I want you to tag a girlfriend. I want you to welcome them. Today is going to be so good. I'm so excited about this thing. I'm so excited about having a conversation with you guys about cross-racial friendships, about cross-switching, code switching. I'm excited to talk to you guys about parallel and purpose and how we tie all those things together. We have some special guests with us today. They're going to be on around 10:25. We have Miss Kira and Miss Karen. They're two powerful women. I'm so excited to have them. I could see them. They're already here. They cute too, y'all. Listen, somebody, that lipstick. I see you, sis, right? And so, look, I want you guys to invite people in to join. I'm going to share at a couple of pages as well. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and I want you to be specific about tagging a girlfriend today, because this is about friendships, cross-racial friendships, but also just friendships, right? These are powerful people that we have in our life that help push us into purpose, people that help us handle the demands that we have on our life, right? People that have been there for us in hard times and soft times and good times and in bad times. And today, if you tag a girlfriend, right, and you go and take that Golden Girls quiz and tag me in a picture of you two, I'm going to choose some girlfriends to send to dinner, right, on us, right, courtesy of our sponsor, and I'll talk to you about that later. But we want to send you to dinner with your girlfriends because we believe that we live in a time right now where we have to cultivate the relationships that we have, and sometimes the people that we're in relationships with don't have to look like us. We want to begin to welcome people that joined us this morning. We see Dawn Bentz is here. Good morning, Dawn. We see Miss Jackie here. Jackie is fierce, y'all. Y'all got to see her. She always comes through with the big pearls. Jackie, thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for tagging Aquanetta and Miss Shirley Whedon. We're excited to have them on here too. Linda Hinton is in the house. Thank you, Linda, for joining. I saw some other names. I saw Kim Gore that's here. Ladies, I want you to share this live stream with me really fast. I'm going to go ahead and share with some people as well. And I want to throw up, right, the community question of the day. And this is what usually helps shapes our topics. It's when people like you that watches Coffee and Community Conversation jump on and ask me a question. And that's what leads into the conversation. And so our community conversation today, our community kickoff question today was sent in by a lady named Alice, who actually lives all the way in Missouri, guys. And so she would share the page, I believe, through my little sister, Davina. She's a friend of hers, I'm not sure. But the community kickoff questions is something I want you to respond to. What is it? Do you think it's harder to have cross-racial friendships? That's powerful. Do you think it's harder to be friends with a Caucasian or Latino as opposed to someone that looks like you, or vice versa? Do you think it's easy to have friendships with people that look like you, or is it harder to have relationships with people that don't look like you? I want you guys to begin to comment and tell me, what is your response to this question? And we're going to throw your answers up on the screen. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share this with some groups, because listen, I know some women in some groups that said, KO, when you jump on, I need you to go ahead and tag me because I want to be a part of this conversation, right? So don't shortchange nobody, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all let the people know that we are up here. And so I'm sharing this to a page right now and in a couple groups. And the question on the screen is, do you think it's harder to have cross-racial friendships as opposed to friendships with people that look like you? What's your answers? What do you think? And remember, we have 2 speakers on today that's going to share about their friendship, about some of the things that they've done in their friendship. And I'm excited to hear from them. I'm excited, so excited, only because I know that they're powerful. I've never hung out with them together, but I've had the opportunity to spend time with each of them. Kara, I had time to have a conversation with her, and I saw Miss Karen, and we spent a couple of hours so in Panera Bread, right? And we were just having this conversation. And so Miss Jacqueline is the first one to respond. She said, no, it's not hard at all. Do you agree? It's not hard to have cross-racial friendships? Mo said, no, it's not hard to have cross-racial friendships. Somebody else, come on. Anybody disagree with what they're saying right now? Anybody disagree with the question, do you think it's harder to have cross-racial friendship? Dawn said no. I love all these no's that are popping up, because this tells me that we have a group that's powerful. Linda wrote something out big. She said, if you're not raised in diversity, there's more to learn when you begin to integrate, so it can be awkward. But I've also had interracial friendship that's just automatically click. Linda, thank you for the depth of your answer, because that is going to help us lead into our conversation today. If you're not raised in diversity, right, it does become a challenge, because you lead by how you learn. Come on, somebody, that was good. And so when you are not used to connecting with people that don't look like you, it's difficult to automatically do it. And so I want to thank our friend for sending in the community question of the day. We appreciate it. And just some basic housekeeping, right? As we move forward, if there's any courses I throw on the screen that you want to jump into, I want you to go ahead and email me at kalila@kalilaalokanola.com. Some of the things that we have happening, and I want to get this out the way. Before we get started, some of the things we have happening is, number one, we are going ahead and we are offering redesigning the blueprint. Redesigning the blueprint is a master class. We're offering it for individuals, right? We do it for churches right now. And if you think you have to redesign some things in your life and your purpose and your position, we want to help you do that. And so if you're interested in that, we want you to go ahead and email the address that's on the screen. If you want to, if you're interested in it. Something else we have happening, we've offered this class once already, the formula for fortitude. Listen, all my workbooks were called Be Brave, and they were Be Brave for a reason, because fear tried to fight me. It tried to take me out, right? And I had to find this fight and fortitude in me, but it's a formula that I came up with that works for me. Because listen, just because I got over fear once doesn't mean I don't have to get over it again, because you can put yourself in situations that stir up the fear in you. They usually happen in my life when I'm doing something I don't have no business doing. Come on, somebody, can I tell the truth? If I'm in a situation that I know that I should not be in, right, that fear creeps up on me, and I have to find the fortitude to fight all over again, you know. And so we have redesigning the blueprint. We have the formula for fortitude, and we are doing a masterclass of emotional intelligence that we talked about last week for moms and their children, right? And I'm just going to throw this on the screen. It's a masterclass. It's a brave lesson from film, right? Based on the film Inside Out. And we want to talk about the emotions and the feelings. This one, it has a cost to it. It's an investment. We're going to ship you some cinema snack kits to your door. We're going to give you an access pass to Inside Out, some interactive worksheets for you to work on with your children, a live presentation via Zoom, and we're going to play some games with some gifts. I have some gifts both from Disney, right, and from some other places that we're going to begin to distribute. If you joined us last week, you know that I had my daughter Cairo on, and she was talking about how she's navigating during this pandemic as a 12-year-old, missing school and missing her friends. And one of the things that I do is give them classes on a daily basis. And one of them was this brave masterclass from film that they thought would be beneficial for other people. We want to be able to express our feelings and our emotions during this pandemic and amid protests. So just some housekeeping I wanted to throw in. I want to thank you for joining me. Miss Yvonne just jumped in and said good morning. If you're ready to get started, say I'm ready. I'm ready. And so we did our community kickoff question, and we talked about do you think it's harder to have cross-racial friendships? And most of the people on here said no, and that's amazing. But today I'm going to talk to you guys in a systematic way, right? On what is a cross-racial friendship, right? What is code switching, and how do they all parallel into purpose before we bring on our guest speakers? Because, I'm not just going to throw out random topics and not tie that thing together and it works. We're going to learn that if we listen, right, there's some things that we can do, to be effective in our building community in our life and in the life of other people that we know. There's some things that you may be able to take away from here that you can share with your friends. Okay, Dawn says she's ready. Kim says she's ready. Linda says she's ready. Tasha says she's ready. I thank you guys for being here. If you're just joining, I'm Pastor Kalila Olokinola, and this is Coffee and Community Conversation. This is a way for us to have candid conversation about things that affect us and that affect our community. Today, I have my coffee in my mom boss cup, and I'm going to drink it, and I hope you have yours as well. And so let's get started, guys. And so what we understand is when we begin to talk about cross-racial friendship, we have to first begin to define, what that looks like. And a cross-racial friendship is not based on color. It's just someone that doesn't look like you, right, or has a different culture, and when we begin to build friendships with people that don't look like us and that come from different cultures, there's some things that we have to adjust and adapt to. And I'm not specifically talking about marriages right now or loving relationships between two people, because I'm in a relationship with a man whose family has an African background, and there's some things in their culture that I had to adapt to as well. We're specifically talking about friendships. And so if you're watching and you have a friend, a girlfriend, I don't care what color she is or where she's from, I want you to tag her in and invite her on, right? And so, when you're having these relationships with people, we have to remember a couple things. Number one is, look, ask questions, right? If there's something that you don't know, it's okay to ask questions. Sometimes some people assume things because of what they know themselves, instead of embarking on questioning someone about a situation or a circumstance. You can't fault somebody for saying something that doesn't make sense or that's wrong if they don't really know the answer to it. And so before you open up your mouth, sis, it's okay for you to ask a question. It's okay for you to ask a question, right? Number two, I want everybody on here to realize that your friend that doesn't look like you does not represent the whole culture. I just said something right there, right? Your friend that you talk to does not represent the whole entire culture, at all. And you may be wondering, what does that mean? That means that some of the things that your friends do doesn't mean that everybody in the entire culture do it. And sometimes we stereotype people based on an experience that we had with one person. And that's false. We just shouldn't do that. We do that in friendships, and we do that in relationships. We do that in general. But what we're going to learn today, guys, is that patterns, characteristics, and predictors of cross-racial friendships gives us context for understanding purpose and positioning as a united people. There's patterns, there's characteristics, there's predictors of things that we do in friendships with people that don't look like us that helps us understand purpose and position, because we are called to be a united people, right? So a few facts for you. A fact: interracial friendships don't receive nearly the amount of press that interracial romances do, right? People are okay with being friends, but not friends with benefits. Come on, somebody. I just said something right there. They have issues with that, right? For interracial friendships to bloom, both the racial stereotypes and expectations must be addressed. There's some people, like I said in the beginning, that just does not know because they have not asked the questions. And I want you to feel free to ask questions while we're here, because this is a conversation. Next fact: whenever people positioned in high places get injected into a racial controversy, they always say that one of their best friends, good friends, or closest friends are Black or white, right? Look, I'm just giving you the fact. Listen, when people get thrown in situations, they're like, hey, especially now with what's happening in our time, hey, I have a Black friend. It's okay. to have a black friend. It's okay to have a white friend. You don't have to use them to get yourself out of a situation, right? But we feel like that's our access card. But today, you know, I really don't want to put as much focus on race, even though we're talking about cross-racial relationships. I want to walk you down this conversation to show you that, look, we can recognize race, but we can make it irrelevant. Come on, somebody. That was good right there. We can recognize race, but we can make it irrelevant. And what that means is that, look, sometimes in building relationships with people, we're limited by what we can do or who we connect to because there's residential segregation or socioeconomic segregation. And most of the friendships that we make with people that don't necessarily look like us are at work or at church, because some of us may live in areas that's frequently populated or where the residents there all look like us, you know? And so, Americans, you know, who crave more diversity in their social circles have often said that it's hard to connect with individuals from different racial backgrounds. And it's those things, those racial segregations, those residential segregations, those socioeconomic segregations that limit us. But when we go to places like work or school or church, we find that we meet people that don't necessarily look like us. And it puts us in a situation where we can get to know them in a deeper way, right? And oftentimes we won't take time to get to know somebody because we're so used to connecting with people that look like us, right? We don't have to take a chance on getting hurt or take a chance in not understanding something. And today, you know, I'm hoping that we recognize that we can step outside of our box and we can begin to build relationships with people that don't look like us, that may talk different, that come from different cultures. And it's part of what we should look like as a united people, right? In cross-racial relationships. I am going to tell you how those cross-racial relationships tie into code switching and how they parallel in purpose before I bring on Miss Kira and Miss Karen, and they're going to talk about how they became friends. I'm calling them golden girls for this segment. And so what is code switching, guys? Code switching in linguistics or language alternation occurs when a speaker alternates between two or more languages or a variety of languages in the context of a single conversation. And so I'm going to give you guys some examples. And again, be patient with me because I'm going to walk you down why these things are important. Speakers switch from one code to another for different reasons. Number one, they want to distinguish themselves. I want to set myself apart, so my language has to be different than yours. Number two, I want to show solidarity with the specific social group. And so if I'm having a conversation in the room and I'm talking to people that don't look like me, I may change the tone, the tenacity, and some of the verbiage I use because I want to be able to impact them in a powerful way in this conversation because it's what they understand. People also code switch when they want to participate in social encounters, you know, with people, again, that don't look like them or in social environments, right? We find ourselves where we want to have a conversation with people if it's in an environment where you're trying to get to know somebody. It's you go in there and you're having a friendly conversation. Y'all ladies know when you go to, excuse me, guys. When you go out with your girlfriends, and for those of y'all that are still single, you see a guy and he starts talking to you, your language change. He says hello and you go, hey. You go, hey, how you doing today? Yeah, my name is Kalila, or my name is KO, or my name is Kira, or my name is Kim. My name is Christy. Good morning, Christy. Thank you for joining. Right. And so your language change, you code switch on them. You go from being, because I'm aggressive. So I go by nature, not, you know, I don't have to do anything to get that that aggressiveness, that assertiveness in me. You know, it's just like, hi, I'm Kalila. What's up? This is KO. And, you know, when my husband says certain things to me, I'm like, yes, sweetie. You know, when my body language change and we begin to talk different, and I'm code switching because of the social encounter that I'm preparing to have. And look, this is all tying into cross-racial relationships, right? And how we're walking it down to our Golden Girls conversation. Good morning, Angela C. Gray is in the house. And so when you begin to code switch, guys, you code switch, you know, again, let's go back to distinguish yourself, to show solidarity with the social group, to participate in social encounters, and to discuss a certain topic and to express feelings. If I'm in a business meeting, what I'm saying to you, if I'm in a crowd and I work for a company that I work for a company that works with active gang members. And so I code switch a lot. My conversation is different. So when I'm in the boardroom, right, I'm telling them that the strategy and the system that we need to be in place is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm being specific to the lingo that's needed in the boardroom. But when I'm hitting the block and I'm having a conversation, I'm like, look, y'all, we have this business. And if we want to build it, we got to take the block. You understand your package. You understand your target market. We got to get aggressive. And so I'm code switching in my conversation because your language affects how you think. Your language affects how you think. Kim said, I was practicing code switching this morning with myself. Kim, I hope you wasn't talking back to yourself. She said, phone voice word versus regular voice. And it's so funny because I know that Miss Kira and Miss Karen have worked for a company or still work for a company where they use their voice a lot, and it changes, right? When I was in sales for Sprint years ago, when I first came home, guys, from serving my bid, I used to have to change my language. I code switch for the clients, right? And so I'm walking you down this road so that you would begin to understand how cross-racial friendship starts with not understanding and not being able to communicate and that initial conversation that you need. There's these guys, I'm going to throw their names up on the screen just in case you want to Google search it or fact check me, named Edward and Benjamin. And Edward and Benjamin, you know, they said that they had this hypothesis that claimed that a person's native language will always control their thoughts, and that if a concept is not expressed in the native language, they wouldn't understand the concept. And so what they're saying is that, look, if you don't speak according to how the person understands, they won't understand the gravity of what you're trying to convey. And so my language has to change to connect with you, and it can connect with your mind. And so what that teaches me is that language can break barriers or build bridges. Y'all need to share that and hashtag it and tell somebody and tag them in. Your language can break barriers or build bridges. And again, today we're talking about cross-racial relationships and code switching and parallel purpose and how that connects to being a golden girl in somebody's life. Your language can break barriers or build bridges. And it does that because if I can have a conversation with you and you understand me and understand what I'm saying and what my needs are, then it helps us communicate more effectively. It happens in sales because when you sell, you have to break down the barrier of the no, right? And you have to build a bridge for the close. It happens in relationship. If you have a fight with your boo and he mad and you mad, he's going to say, I'm sorry. And that's sorry, listen, often weakens us as women, and we go running into their arms and said, it's okay, boo. It builds a bridge to makeup moments. That's what I'm going to say, because we want this to stay kid friendly. Kid friendly. And so your language can break barriers. But I know you're probably thinking, how does that parallel in purpose? I'm happy that you're asking. It's almost time for me to bring on Kira and Karen. I'm excited. This is how it parallels in purpose. The conversations are the same. They're just spoken different. We realize that we're often saying the same thing. I just have a different language than you do. I use different words and my tone is different. If somebody came to you and was like, yo, what's up? How you doing? You're like, what's wrong? What happened? What did I do? But if I came to you and say, hi guys, how are you doing? You wouldn't think anything is wrong. But my tone can often send the wrong message, or how I use my tone can often send the wrong message. Jeff just jumped on and said, Apostle Paul said, I became this to win them over, but not sinning. That's exactly right. Paul became like the Romans while in Rome. And that's what we have to do. Come on, you helping me right now, Jeff. That's what we have to do in order to begin to connect with people in cross-racial relationships, in relationships, period. Tasha held her hands up. I don't know if that was for the makeup moment or if she believed that language break barriers, that build bridges. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Look, skills can shift people in other systems that surrendered in service. If my language can help you and I surrender it to help you, then it can shift the people in the systems I'm speaking in. I get this amazing opportunity to go talk to people that don't look like me, right? Don't sound like me. They have way more money than me. Come on, somebody, listen. And they look at me, and because of the language I use, they are impacted. But if I walked in there with my background on a billboard over my chest, right, and I spoke a certain way, I would be labeled and classified. And so what I realized, that my skills that I have in understanding how to code switch, understanding and how to have the conversation, understanding how it parallels in purpose, it will shift people in other systems if I surrender it in service. If you can use me and use what I say in your system to sustain you and to make you soar, then we're going to go ahead and do it. Jeff just jumped back on and said, people who are locked in culture have to learn to be diverse. That's right, Jeff. Thank you for your input today. And look, friendships are not based on color. If we understand the skill shifting systems, it's based on core and character. I just said something. I'm not going to be cool with you because of how you look, but because at the core you have good character, right? We can connect that way because look, I know some black women that's crazy. I'm not hanging with them because I want to stay safe. Come on, somebody. And I know some white women that I'm not hanging out either because I want to stay safe. And some Latino women. So there's women from so many different backgrounds that have things that I just can't get with or connect with because of where I am in my life, at the core of my character and who I am, right? I'm not basing who I connect to on how you look, but on who you are. Because I realize that we want the same, but our learned language often limits what we see and how we hear. And so I'm limited based on what I've learned, but if I'm okay with adapting to something new and understanding you in a new way, we can be successful in cross-racial relationships. Linda Hinton just said, that's what I had to do. I was so white, y'all. All right, Linda, thank you. This is so good right now. This is so good, right? And so, you know, in this same context of this conversation, I know you guys are probably asking, right? Why Golden Girls? I mean, why Golden Girls? And I'm going to bring Kira and Karen on, but I want to tell you why Golden Girls. These four women, you know, encompass the qualities of any friend group, right? Whether you're young or old. We all probably have a Dorothy, a Blanche, a Rose, or a Sophia in our friend life. If you do, I want you to tag them right now. I want you to tag them right now, and your tags is going to enter you to win that dinner on us. And I'm not talking about Pizza Hut, right? Or McDonald's or Burger King. I'm trying to send you someplace nice overlooking the water, right? And so I want you to begin to tag your golden girl right now. I want you to tag people that have been there for you. They don't have to look like you and they can look like you. I want you to tag somebody in right now, right? Somebody who you know is your ride or die, like, you know, Bonnie and Clyde, you know, but she's with you, whatever you're going through. I have some friends that I would grease up my face and put on my Timberland boots for. Right? And so these are the friendships I'm talking about, right? Those are the people that you want in your life. Tasha just tagged Crystal Mitchell. Crystal, Tasha said you a golden girl. Linda said your language can break Crystal, Danielle Wardrop. She's tagging people. Somebody tagged Shirley Whedon. Somebody tagged Sophia Smith. Somebody tagged Teresa Hicks. Listen, that's right. Tag your golden girls, right? These are your ride or die. And we look at what these women did. And on the surface, we just saw these four old ladies sitting around a table in Miami, drinking tea and eating cake. But deep down, ladies, is something more. It wasn't just about older women, but it was about friendship. It was about love and family and fellowship. You know, and these are things that every demographic, no matter what color you are, can understand. I told you I was going to walk you down to this, right? Every demographic can understand, right? And so I want you to begin to ask yourself, are you Dorothy? Oh my goodness. Are you Dorothy? Who is Dorothy? Dorothy is dependable. The group leans on her. If you're Dorothy, you may sometimes struggle romantically compared to your friends, and maybe you may have a little bit of self-esteem issues, but your language is loyalty. You're loyal to your friends, and you're loyal to what they do. Are you Blanche? And now we all remember Blanche, right? She was a hot tamale, but Blanche is not about being promiscuous. She is pugnacious. And what that means is that she's aggressive. She's a woman who gets what she wants in life. She is confident and she is consistent in her ability to be successful in areas that some of us struggle with. You ever had a friend growing up and she always had the cutest boyfriend and it was easy for her to find somebody to go to the dance with and you was wondering what happened to me? Blanche language is charm, right? She is her charm, right? That puts people in position. And we're going to break because people are tagging people. Nikki Keaton is on. Somebody said you a golden girl, Nikki. Somebody tagged Miss Dawn Highsmith Corbett. You a golden girl. Ashley, you a golden girl. Nikki just tagged Mimi, Crystal, Michelle, Sophia, Yaritza, Maria, Jessica, and Tamika. Your friends are saying that you are a golden girl, that you encompass what it means to be friendship. Kira, you know, she's about to jump on and she just tagged Annette, Tria, Ronisha, Bobby. Yep, I knew she was going to tag them. Takima and Antoinette. That's right. And so these are your golden girls. These are people that you can depend on, and y'all still tagging them. Keep tagging them. Listen, Kim Gore just tagged Jackie and PKO. Kim, I love you. Thank you for seeing me as a golden girl. I appreciate that so much, and I feel the same about you. If I could tag right now, I would. And so we just asked, are you a Dorothy or are you a Blanche or are you a Rose? Look, who is Rose? Everybody loves the Rose of the group, right? She's sweet, she's honest, she's trustworthy. You know, she likes to talk about memories of things that y'all did back in the days, you know, and Rose is simple, but she's also systematic, right? She puts things in place and she wants everything right. Do you have that friend that gives everybody the benefit of the doubt? She's the calm to the storm and she just wants to just chill, but she's always like, it's okay, let's be nice. I have some friends like that in my life. They're like, look, calm down, girlfriend, because you're doing too much right now. And so we all have Roses in our life. Or are you Sophia? Now, somebody's mom became a part of the girl squad. Sophia's mom. Somebody's mom became part of the girl squad, right? And the girl squad, thank you, Angela. Thank you, Nikki, for tagging people. Thank you, guys. Are you Sophia? And Sophia is somebody's mom. You're the mom of the group. You always have a story to tell and a lesson to teach to all the younger ones in the group. And Sophia has a little bit of sass to her, right? She's gangster. Let's keep it real, right? And so sometimes your friends don't take you seriously because you're the oldest. And sometimes, you know, they may think that you're all over the place, but every group needs a Sophia. Every group needs a Sophia. And so, guys, why golden girls? Are you a Dorothy? Are you a Blanche? Are you a Rose? Are you a Sophia? Do you understand that it doesn't matter how we look as friendships, as women, we need to be connected and united. We want the same, but our learned language limits what we see and how we hear. Do you understand that friendships are not based on color, but on core and character? Do you understand that your skills can shift people in other systems of surrendered and service, and that the conversations are the same no matter where you are? They're just spoken a little bit different. Golden girls parallel in purpose. They're connected. They have things that tie them together. They have things that make their relationships work. They have things that make people function. I'm about to bring Karen and Kira on, and these are some of the things that, and then we're going to go back and close out with giving you 4 things so that you can do to be a golden girl based on their conversation. And so, guys, you know, if you're watching, I want you to begin to welcome me, to help me welcome Kira and Karen on Coffee in Conversation, in Community Conversation today. And I want you to keep tagging your friends. And remember that we want the same things in life. We want somebody that we can depend on, somebody that we can trust, somebody that's honest, and somebody that's been there for us. So, guys, I'm welcoming Kira. I'm welcoming Karen. Ladies, you are live and on screen. Come on, y'all, and drop the comments below and welcome them. Welcome them, welcome them, welcome them. Everybody welcome them. Welcome Karen and Kira. They are here. They are on. I'm so happy that they are here. I believe that they're going to encourage you to reconcile some relationships. They're going to encourage you to go deeper in your relationships. They're going to encourage you not just to be friends with people that look like but even with people that don't look like you. Chrissy Patari just jumped on. Hey. Nikki Keaton said, hey, y'all. Dawn said, hey, y'all. They're coming in and they're saying hi. Ebony is still tagged. They're still tagging Golden Girls. Come on, y'all. Still tag your Golden Girls. And we're going to get started, with Kira and Karen. And so, guys, just to get started, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I can go first. So, my name is Kira, and I'm kind of I can hear you, Kay. I am originally born and raised in Ohio. I've only been in Wilmington for about 6 years. And I moved here based on the fact that I worked for Verizon Wireless, and I had relocated to keep my job. And that's essentially how I met Karen, because we were working with the same company. Yeah, so that's basically, in a nutshell, a little bit about me. Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. Karen?
Yeah, I'm Kira, and I have a very bad connection. I don't know. My laptop isn't working, and I'm trying to do it on my phone. So hopefully everybody can hear me. But I met Kira at Verizon as well. She came from Ohio and basically sat behind me. So our relationship started in like 2014, and we were working together at Verizon.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm just going to put this out there before we even move on. I'm going to throw that on the screen. We got a special request from Tay Day asking somebody to sing. I know who she's talking to. I know she's not talking to me. She's going to think about it, Tay Day. She's going to think about it. Cool. So, guys, next question is, sorry about that. Next question is, describe each other in your friendship.
I'll go first. So, being new to the job down here, Karen had already been there, obviously. She's from New York. So, my first impression of Karen was like, yeah, I don't really like this chick. She's very direct. She's very, and she's very, can kind of come across as rude. Like, we were in staff meetings, and I was like, yeah, I don't really like this chick. So that just tells you how first impressions can be. But as we began to sit next to each other every single day, like for I think it might have been a year or more, our cubicles were like right next to each other, and so that's really how we became closer, because you can't help it when you're working with somebody every single day that close. So eventually, she actually changed that for me. I will say for me, and I'm going to tell you this, Kay, we were talking, that it came back to me while I was getting dressed, this memory. So she actually, because she was kind of having like a bad day, or she might have been going through something, and her reps were asking her questions, and she was yelling back, and it was kind of abrupt and kind of loud across the floor. And, I'm a lot more soft-spoken, but I could tell the reps were like cringing in their seats. So I was like, and then they were coming over to me saying, Miss Kira, I'm trying to ask Karen something. So I was a little nervous and a little, to be honest, afraid. But do you remember this, Kay? I came up to her and I said, let me talk to you for a second. So I prayed before I did it, because I didn't know how she was going to respond. But I took her into a conference room and I sat her down. I said, hey, I didn't want you to, I wanted you to know the reps were kind of murmuring on the floor about how you were acting. I felt like you should know that they were coming to me complaining, and I don't think it's cool that they have that impression about you. So I wanted you to know what was going on, and maybe you can kind of be a little more aware of how you're talking to the reps. And for me, I feel like I broke that whole impression thing about her, because she let me know she was going through something, and she appreciated me for doing it, and was scared to even talk to her. But I think for me, because I was being honest with her, like that immediately ignited like a friendship with us from my perspective.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy, because look, I didn't even speak to you about what you was going to say. You heard that? The Golden Girls that we have on, one of the things that she said connected them first was be honest, right? Yes. Keep going. Do you want to share something, Karen, or do you want me to go ahead and move on to the next question?
I'm just trying to find a place that I can actually get hear everything that's being said. But I totally agree with Kira in the fact that I knew she came to me from a place of care and love and not a place of like attacking. And I mean, it must have been a bad day because I had a very good relationship with almost like all of my reps at Verizon for the most part. So that must just have been an off day because I don't want everybody to think that I was a terror supervisor at Verizon.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, everybody has bad days.
Everybody has bad days, and it's okay to have bad days. If you're watching, share a bad day that you had, that your friend may have, helped you with, or you knew that because they were honest with you, that they were going to be your friends. I'm going to use this example, and it's probably a really, really bad example. But look, if I have something in my teeth or a booger coming out my nose, I need you to tell me, right? And you ever been around a group of people that don't say anything? They just look at you and that thing is fluttering, or you smiling and it's in your teeth. And when you get someplace, you realize that you had something hanging one way and something stuck the other way. Those are not your friends, ladies. Listen, those people are not your friends, right? And so being honest about any situation is okay. And yes, we all have bad days. It could be yelling across the room. It could be something stuck in your teeth. It can be a lash that's leaning, because y'all know how I talk about these lashes, right? Especially when the pink done happened, right? Lashes leaning. Angela C. Gray just said, I got you, them lashes. Or lipstick in your teeth. Pat said, a lipstick in your teeth. Please tell me. Yes, ladies. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Honesty is going to take you places. Christy Washington said, it's good to have people in your circle that will always be in your corner. You got that right. And not everybody in your circle is in your corner. And Ebony just said that Sequoia J. Finney is always there when I need her. Love you, sis. That's right, guys. Tag your friends and let them know that you love them, and as we move on to our next question, we're in a really challenging time right now in our country, in our community. We're facing a pandemic still, and we live in Wilmington, North Carolina. Our numbers increased by 220%, right? We had the highest positive testing rate yesterday or the day before yesterday. Monday, it was 35 people, and the day after that, it was higher. And so we need friends in our life. We need friends that are going to support us and encourage us, because this is an emotional experience as well that we're facing. So I'm so happy to have you guys here. Kira, I want to ask you, actually, Karen, I want to ask you, you actually already answered this. Can you guys share a situation that you were both there for each other that you believe bonded you outside of the one that you just shared?
Go ahead, Kay.
Sure. There was back in 2016, the end of 2016, my mother was really, really sick. And she had been really sick for a long time, but I went up to New York for the holidays, hadn't been up there since 2004, and this was December 2016. And Kira and I had gotten close before that, but during the time that my mother was actually dying, I felt that bond between Kira and I got even stronger, because she was there for me, reached out to me, she called me, she, just to check on me, not overbearing, but out of such a love. And at that time, I needed the friendships in my life to be strong for me, because I wasn't strong. And when my mother passed away, I feel like God had moved Kira to call me, video chat me right at the moment my mother passed away. She video chatted me. And it was almost like God sending a message of the connection that her and I would always have, being there at the moment that was the most, saddest moment of my life. So that was the one that really, I knew this was not only a friend, but a sister for life.
Wow, that was powerful. Oh, Jesus. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
She said a sister for life. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kira, do you have a situation that you want to share?
I think for me, Karen just showed me that her heart was genuine. Oh my God, I'm tearing up. I don't have a specific situation, but it's really difficult when you move to a new city and you don't know anybody. And I just think day over day, she just literally showed me, yes, she can be loud. Yes, she can be direct. That's a part of her personality. And she always tells me, I'm from New York. That's just how it is. I've learned to love that about her. But I feel like when you really get to know her, she has such a genuine heart. She will give you the shirt off her back. She will, if you got $10 and you need another 10 to make something happen, she'll give it to you. Like when she showed me that she was just genuine, that's all I need, genuine people in my life. And that's all that she needed to show me. And I feel like, and she's consistent with it. You know how we can have friends that are sometimes, sometimes I'll be for you, sometimes I'll choose when I want to be there for you. And I just feel like she's consistent. Anything that I've done or hosted or, anything, and same with her. If she was selling anything and she had something going on, I mean, we just are there for each other. And I think I don't have a specific time. It's just like a constant thing with her.
Consistency. That's
Yeah.
powerful. That's powerful. You know, and it's hard to find people in your life that are consistent and that's always there for you, that can handle you in good times and in difficult times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to ask you guys a really tough question. The country right now is in an uproar. So much racial divisiveness and a pandemic. As friends of different races, how does that make you feel?
Who's going first? You want to go, okay?
I
Okay.
love that y'all do that because I do the same thing with my friend. You go, I go, we go. No, okay, yeah.
And we call each other K, which is even crazier. I think for me, the people that my I guess friends that are not Black that I have in my circle have always been, I feel like I'm connected to people who are just people. It's not a Black, it's not a white. We are just friends. Anybody that I meet, I've always been like that since I was like a kid. Like I just drop people, and when I post, even when I post things, if it might be out of me expressing my frustration with what's going on right now, my white friends will chime in and they are so supportive and they're like, it's time for a change. This is ridiculous. It needs to stop. And, to me, that is uplifting in this time because I never want to feel divisive with any of my friends that are not Black because of what's going on. So I think that it almost ignites me to just continue to, express how I feel, do what I can to make a change, reach out to people who are not Black. I had one of my friends actually, when I posted about Juneteenth, she said she had never heard of it, one of my white friends. And I took that moment to tell her about it, and posted like the links and stuff like that. Like, I feel like this is stuff that you need to know. With this racial, everything that's going on. And it's important to, it's not just affecting, the Black culture, it's affecting everyone. And so, knowledge is obviously power. And I feel like it's important to know what's going on. With the pandemic, Karen and I have literally been checking on each other. We video chat a lot because I miss her, you know what I'm saying? And I have to kind of stay enclosed because I just can't, because of what's going on with my health. I can't be around everybody right now with this COVID. So it's tough, but I did a drive through to her house a couple weeks ago. I just had my truck and she came outside and talked to me with the whole social distancing. We talked for like almost an hour or so. We just make it work, but we constantly check on each other and make sure, each other is good. So it is it's very challenging with both, but that's pretty much how I've been trying to handle it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Karen, do you want to share something on that topic?
Well, I mean, I can go way to the early time and growing up. Racial situation in the world.
Move around.
This racial situation in the world, it's been here. It's been here for centuries. But I can see where some white people, I hope this comes out right, are somewhat blind to what's really going on. Now, I'll share something which I don't share very often with anyone. In the fact that when I was growing up from ages, the earliest part of my life of 4, where I remember, till I was about 11, I was in a predominantly white area of New York where I lived. And I can see how the conversation is, it's learned behavior, it's what you're taught, it's not being exposed. Um, it's that mentality that is ingrained in you from childhood.
Right.
So I was able to go into a more diverse neighborhood. And my town was pretty diverse in and of itself. You know, there was Black, there was white, there was Jewish, Italian, Latino. I mean, we were all Russian, Chinese. I mean, it was a pretty mixed area. But being able to identify with other cultures is, I think, what can hopefully break this problem we're having. Because like we see the video on Facebook of the little kids, the Black kid and the white kid running up and hugging and, you know, things like that. They don't know the difference. And if they're taught to be only with their own kind, this is what the result is what we're going through right now with the differences. So open dialogue, connecting, sharing experiences, these are just some of the things that I feel that hopefully can break this. But I am just grateful that I don't see color. I have biracial children, I have biracial grandchildren. I know the struggles that they will face. I know some of the struggles my own children have faced being biracial, coming from the north to the south, you know, but I'm just grateful that, you know, we're all still here and we're opening the dialogue now again. And more, like Kira said, more, we talked about this earlier, more white people are coming to the forefront, understanding that this is really a problem.
That's right. Yeah, we learned that, you know, unconscious bias is learned stereotypes, right? And so one of the things you said that I think was really powerful and important is that some behaviors that we see have been influenced by just how you were brought up. It's not anything that you are intentionally doing. It's just what you learned. And so we just have to begin to teach different. Just 2 more questions, ladies. What should we all look for in a friend?
Man, I feel like, well, let me start with saying we can't set ourselves up to find people in our lives that are going to be the friend that we are to them. That is a hard lesson that I've learned over time. I feel like I'm very loyal. I feel like I am very genuine. And sometimes we come into, into contact with people who we expect, if I'm there for you, we expect them to be there for us. And we all know that doesn't always happen. So I feel like we, a real true sisterhood, Golden Girls moment are people who, I got your back, you got my back, no questions asked. Like we don't have to guess about it. We don't have to wonder about it. You can be honest with me, and my feelings might hurt for a minute, but I know you're coming from a place of love, and I'm gonna get over it and move on and appreciate the fact that you were honest with me. I think that's important too. Just showing up. Consistency is so big for me because I feel like that's what I do. And I love people who return the same to me. To me, that is like the foundation, consistency and honesty and just being genuine. Like, some people, when you first meet them, that's their first version of them, right?
Listen.
And as you get to know them, you're like, man, this chick, I thought I knew her. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole different ballgame. So consistency, it's just so important to me. And to me, that's what grows a friendship.
Wow. Karen?
Absolutely. I agree with that. I don't have a big, I don't want to say even a circle because there's no corners in circles. And I know sometimes I don't have people in my corner.
Wait, I said there's no corners in circles.
Yes. Right? That was good, Kay.
I know, yeah, I know who I got in my that I can truly call on. I know good and bad. And that's one thing with Kira and I know this is a focus on our relationship, that there's times where we could be at our rawest moment, whether we're crying, whether we're just, something is just really hurting us to the core, and we can be there for each other. And sometimes it's better just to listen. You don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to have a lecture, a comment. Just be quiet and be there for that person. If it's a hug, I know at work, when I worked at Verizon, it would be just, I knew she needed a hug that day. And it was like, and I needed a hug, certain days. And we just needed to know, I could tell, we could read it on each other's faces. There's not many people in life that you can really truly have that bond with. I'm grateful that I have friends from all races. I have friends that, my 3 of my best friends, one is German, one is Dominican, and one is Black. So it's like, I'm grateful that I have that ability. And, like Kira said, honesty, being true to each other, being there when you need each other. That's friendship.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know what else to say on it, but that's all I feel.
That's right. And so, guys, as we wind this down, we just have 2 more questions. Stay with us. That was fantastic. I posted the question: have you been hurt in a friendship? And if you have, what did that look like? My final question before I leave you guys with final tips is, guys, I like you guys gave some great context of your relationship, some of the things that you went through that have bonded you guys. Any final words on developing Golden Girl friendships?
I just feel like, the foundation always has to be, well, first of all, Karen and I have so much in common. I think that's something that builds Golden Girl relationships too. Like, we both love 80s and 90s R&B to our core. we went to the R&B concert in Raleigh and was turned up the whole time. We never sat down. And sometimes people in my cube dancing and singing, and I join in with her. We'd be grooving at work. So that connected us. We love to just enjoy life. And one thing that she inspired me to do was to enjoy life, because Karen lives life with like no boundaries. And I've always been that chick, like, I want to do it, but what if this happens? What if that happens? I don't know. I should, maybe. And she literally has catapulted me out of that. She's like, hey, you got to live your life. You got to, because she's always going on a trip. I'm looking at her like, how many trips are you going on? Like, you've been on 3 cruises this year, So she literally inspired me to take my very first cruise in 2017. You remember that, Kay? I was like, I booked it. It's done. I can't retract it. I'm going. You know what I mean? I had to let go of that fear. And I can definitely say that, when you have friendships like that, what's that saying? You have friends in your life for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. And Kay is definitely a lifetimer, because it's just like it's like glue now. You know what I mean? So
that's powerful.
Connected.
Yes.
Yeah, that's powerful. So, guys, we have some comment and some feedback from people. If anybody here, you have a question for Kira or Karen that you want to share, drop it in the comment area. Miss Pat said that the community would be so much better if people would just listen. Thank you, Miss Pat. She also said, yes, absolutely. I've been hurt in friendships when I learned that friend was just pumping me for information to then use against me. I'm sorry, Miss Pat. And it's difficult for us to make new friends when we've been hurt by old friends, but there's healing in the house today for friendships, right? It's all in your language. You didn't do anything wrong. That person just, didn't deserve to be your friend at that time. And there are so many different women, not just in Wilmington, but who are abroad, who want to find good friends that they can trust and that they can depend on. Angela C. Gray said to you guys, the beauty of your relationship is the diversity of culture and race, and that involves seeing the richness of color. Yeah. She also said, beautiful discussion. And so, guys, I want you to put some questions. If you have any questions for Miss Kira or Miss Karen, our fierce golden girls, and we're going to just do a quick recap, and I'm going to walk you guys out while you guys are posting questions if you have any. So we learned today that in cross-racial relationships, like being able to code switch and have conversation is important. And some of the things I just really want to highlight again is that this quote that Karen said, I don't have circles because there are no corners in circles. I need you hashtagging it and sharing it with people. And Miss Kira said, I'm ignited to continue to make change, you know, and that's powerful to me. She also said, look, we are just friends. It's no color. It's nothing. We are just friends. And that's powerful. Like, you know, we look beyond and we look at the core and character of who somebody is, and we are just friends. It has nothing to do with color. We understand that we're different, but it becomes irrelevant, right?
Yep.
And so golden girl friendships, right? How do you know that you have a golden girl friendship? What can you do to build a golden girl friendship? The questions are coming in. I love that, Karen, going to borrow it. I love that, Karen. I'm going to borrow that quote. Pat said we have to see the beauty of the person, not the rich, not the color of the skin or the origin of their ancestry. That's very good. Thank you. So we understand that to be a golden girl, you have to be honest and not critical. Look, it's okay if you call me out, because I have friends that call me out, but don't be critical, right? You know, you have some people that always have something to say about something. Girl, stop before I get you. Right? Like, you know, like I still look, I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, but I still can fight. I can still fight. So
just catch these hands, right?
And so, like, you know, you people that are honest, but they're not. They're critical, and it makes you feel bad. You know the difference, right? They don't provide comfort, but it's like it's not comforting, it's criticizing. You know, there's a difference between it. And so, look, be honest, but don't criticize your friend because she leans on you and depends on you to be there for her. Look, another golden girl tip: silence is golden. If you can't keep my secrets, we can't be cool. Yeah. Right? And so,
that, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, you know, look, girlfriend, don't tell nobody. Right? Like, don't tell nobody. Silence is golden for golden girls, right? I'm able to share things with you that I won't share with anybody else. Those inner deep things that I'm going through, or like you said, you go out with Karen and, you know, you could be yourself. Like, I want to be able to be myself in areas and not, you know, I don't want to have to fake being KO. Like, I am loud. I like to have fun. You know, I like to cheer. I like hip hop. Listen. You know, and so like I want to be able to be me, and if I can't be me, or if I can't share with you the inner parts of me, then it's difficult for me to call you a golden girl. Number 3, destiny and dynamics in the details. You guys share details of your relationships, those things that you can go back and it may have just happened one day, or it just may have been a phone call or a slight touch. And here, when you said something powerful, it wasn't just one thing, but destiny and dynamics are in the details. There's some things that some people have done in my life to push me, and that I look at and I'm like, thank you. You know, I know that you're there for me, and it showed with your actions. And finally, don't muddle the water with men. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lord,
the whole topic, y'all.
You preach it now.
Don't muddle the water with men. What does that mean? If he come in and he want both of y'all, he can't have either of y'all. Right? And I mean, that's the conversation. Let's keep it real. Some of us on here are married, but for those that are not, don't muddle the water with men. Don't let a man come between the relationship that you're building. That means, like, if he wants both of y'all, he's not the one for you, right? He's doing the wrong thing. Miss Christie just jumped on and said it's good to have someone that holds you accountable and calls you out on your mess. That's right. We all need that in our life. And so golden girls are not just people that we see on TV, you know, they're not just white people or black people. They're all people. They're women that get together, they fellowship, they do life together, they spend time with each other. And I desire golden girls in my life, and I'm sure you desire golden girls in your life. If you're just joining, I want you to go back and watch the replay. I want you to tag your girlfriends. I want to encourage you to continue to build your relationship, to go deeper, because we're living in a time where we're not looking at color, but at the core of your character. And we need people that are going to be there for us in so many different ways, right? And I'm like, look, and I want us to dance our way out of here, right? I want us to remember that we have people that are darkness in our life. We have branches, we have roses, and we have Sophias, and they all have meaning. And today, I hope you were encouraged to understand how racial relationships, code switching, all parallel in purpose. You don't have to look like me for us to be together. I'm not worried about the color of your skin, but I'm more concerned with your character. I want to thank you for taking time to join us today on Coffee and Community Conversation. I want to thank my guests, Kara and Karen, for joining us. Ladies, I appreciate you. Any final words before you go? No final words. You guys are good.
Thank you for having us, Phil. We love you.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and thank you for being a friend. Thank you, Angela, for being a friend. Thank you, Kim, for being a friend. Thank you, Pat, for being a friend. Thank you, Shirley. Like, I want you guys to tag a woman after you get off of here. Tag a picture, put up a picture of her, and tag her and say thank you for being a friend. Right? Tag me. Picture. Thank somebody for being a friend. Thank somebody for being there for you and some of the situations and the circumstances that you face. Listen, I had some hard times in my life, and if I didn't have my friends, I don't know if I would have made it. Christy just said character over color. That's a whole t-shirt. Listen, I'm so excited, right, about this. I want to thank you guys for joining me today on episode 5 of Coffee and Community Conversation. When God told me to do this, I was like, you want me to do something other than spitting and preaching? Jesus, right? But it's okay. You know, it's okay. And I'm so happy that I did it, because I think that these conversations is going to open up doors, that these conversations are going to change things. These conversations are going to push us into purpose, and we're going to get practical tools so that we can continue to pursue who we are, whose we are in our life. Today, tag a friend, and remember that your language can break barriers to build bridges. What you say matters, but everybody that you're connected to, there's a parallel in purpose. So if you know somebody, tag them. If you don't, go find somebody. My name is Pastor Kalila Olokanola. I want to thank you for taking time again to join me today. Meet me back here on Saturday at 10 a.m. and on Monday at 7 p.m. for Brave Lessons. Comments or concerns, hit me up on my inbox or email me. Have an amazing day. Today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life.
Woo!